Morning. Mark Warnke here, PackGoats.com, known as the Goat Guy. And I'm going to start doing I think Saturdays, try just kind of weekendy thing, like a ranch update here at Ripple Ranch and what we're kind of completing and what process we're in. And for those of you who kind of want to follow on the homesteading piece and in our development over time. So one of our biggest assets on the ranch is that hillside. So we own from the top right about here to this valley in here and all that. And then our neighbor is really nice and doesn't care if we graze that. And then that is state BLM land, which we have to be respectful of and can't go on. But right now the goats are, I can't zoom in, but they're right there. So that's where the herd is right now. And that corner is the corner of our fenced pasture. And you can see the difference between grazed and ungrazed with the horses, primarily, who do a lot of grazing and eat a lot of resources. All 4 of them. And just how much more impactful they are on the land in general. In my opinion, horses are barely worth it. I really want to honor Trish's affinity towards horses, but they're not really a sensical animal in terms of both packer, pet. They are a luxury animal that costs a lot of money and has a lot of impact, is dangerous, but I have one and I love him. He's cool, but they just carry that. Anyway, so here's what I'm going to try to do is kind of just update you guys on what we're working on each week and what we've completed and what kind of the next week holds. So this week we got, and I cut a video about it, so you'll be able to see it on the Goat Club membership and I think on YouTube. That little pin right there is holding our guinea hens and a few more layers. And I think honestly the guinea hens are going to end up being a big fail. Main reason is we didn't entertain trying to keep them alive through the winter, and I'm not into having animals around just to have animals around, except for my cats, and everything kind of needs to have a purpose, and even the cats do because they're good mousers. And guineas are very loud. The reason to have them around is because they'll eat the ticks and all the grasshoppers, which we have buttloads of grasshoppers. So they will serve that purpose, but meat chickens would do the same. We could get Red Rangers and then have a butcher animal mid-summer or late summer and have a bunch of chickens and have them free range in and cover all the creek bottom and do the tick duty and provide us with meat, where the guinea hens won't be very good at that. So I think the guinea fowl were a mistake, but we're going with the flow of it. The other thing is that we had some intern helpers that moved into, we have a little camper thing here that we call date night, and it's a camper in the meadow, and it's beautiful and it's rustic and doesn't have all the power functioning and everything else, and they're being good spirited and helping us to get that set up. So we're continuing to open up the possibility for people to stay on the ranch that can be helpful and learn, and summertime interns, stuff like that. We finished what we call the Ripple Center, which is our space where we do work with people on trauma and addiction and being more evolved humans and bettering themselves. And we do workshops and seminars and stuff like that in that facility. That thing's completely done. Now I'm reorganizing everything that's in the shelves. It turned out amazing. I have a video coming out on YouTube on that shortly to kind of detail what that ended up. We're towards the end of our kidding season. We're winding down babies. That'll be pretty much done by the end of May. We're milking about 8 gallons a day in the new milk barn, and that's fully functioning. We're not quite done with the exterior, but we're close. And that's been really beautiful. And we decided this year not to try to tackle running pumps and waters and ponds because we just can only take on so much at once. And then we're trying to scale into this property over the next 2 to 3 years and take off bite-sized chunks that end up having us be good humans, not just taskers. I'm saying that to myself. I struggle with that the most. But that's kind of a weekly update. We accomplished a lot this week. Our main hired hand, Lucas, is going back to Chile, and that's really disappointing for us because we finally got him trained up and good. We had to let another guy go that was trying to work for us and just couldn't get it figured out. And then the new interns here, we're really lucky to have them, and we're really looking forward to having somebody who's hungry to learn and wants to help with the bigger mission here of improving how goats are raised and how homesteading is done and making an impact positively on the planet. But with the goats right now, this is a huge resource for us, and we have no fencing. And so we're trying to figure out if we can just free shepherd them, meaning just let them kind of keep an eyeball on them, a couple hours in the morning, couple hours in the evening. Luckily, we can just see the whole hill from here, and then we'll see kind of how they move across the property, and then also begin to train them to come collectively. When I call, they all are pretty good at it now, but I really want to have some peanuts in my pocket and reward the ones that come, and then teach them a cycle of being let out every day and then coming back in. And so we're going to pay attention to when they bed. We're also going to pay attention to who's leading. We may end up trying to do a collared system, like a shock collar, and then put a cable around surrounding the property. It's unrealistic for us to think about doing a fence because it's crazy expensive, and we have elk on the property about every 3 days, and they'll just rip anything down that we put up other than like really expensive pole fencing. It would cost us an enormous amount to fence it, so it's just unrealistic. So we're trying to figure out other alternatives to utilize this as a resource to offset the need to buy hay, which is going to be really crazy this year. And there's a lot of you out there in this world that are in this world of homesteading. They're trying to figure out alternative sources to alfalfa or hay, because it's just going to be crazy freaking expensive this year. We did make really good friends with our neighbors and been kind to them and thoughtful and done things to build a relationship, and now we have the access to all their hay, which we're going to be able to buy about 20 tons this year, which is more than what we need, and we hope to have extra at the end of the season for people who don't have enough possibly, and be able to kind of store up some nuts and make sure we're okay in these crazy times. So just things that we think about. This is kind of a new experiment. You might let me know if you're a regular watcher of our videos, if this sort of ranch update is appealing to you, to kind of know what we accomplish on a weekly basis and what we're trying to do the following week. We had a ton of good moisture, by the way. That was a huge godsend. We've had like 2.5 weeks now of snow and rain and great moisture, and that's been a really big gift. And we are getting ready to go into bear season. I have clients coming in to hunt with me. They'll be guiding 5 different bear hunters this year. We're just doing all we can do to make sure that we keep the bills paid and flourish. And those of you who support us through things like the Goat Club membership or buying Pack Goat gear or goat gear in general, and we're coming out with some new products too that'll make it possible for anybody who really owns a goat to have a sensible reason to do business with us, and for us to be able to interact in a financial level and not just coming and watching the video level. So we continue to work to expand that, because we need to make sure the lights stay on. So anyway, super blessed, beautiful day. It's Saturday, and I hope your day's awesome. Thanks for taking the time.